I just want to give you a bit of an insight into the AFL Enjoys team. We're a bunch of unique individuals, Matsa, Svenda, and Dean. We're going to engage with our minds and our hearts. We're going to exchange ideas, thoughts, and even our energy. And to speak from your heart, you need to have courage. You need to be honest and authentic. We're not always going to get it right, and sometimes you're not going to agree with us. But that's okay, because just like you, we care. Just like you, we're passionate about the game. So if you want to come along for the ride, join us at the AFL Enjoys podcast, because we really enjoy the footy. Hello and welcome back to the AFL Enjoys podcast. We're back from a holiday, nice and energized.
To an extent, I'm jet lagged so if I fall asleep during this podcast, I've warned you guys now, but we'll try our best to get through it and make it entertaining for you.
That's it. Well, usually you're always like wrecked after shift work anyway, so it's probably the same sort of vibe.
Yeah, you're right. This is homeostasis, really. This is normal.
That's it, bro. But Matsa's just come back literally the other night. I've been back for a few weeks. We were away in Greece for a couple of weeks, getting our vitamin D intake.
Yeah, even though it's still low, we're discussing. Apparently you need time in the sun. Like we're talking, Dean's making it as if you need to be in the sun for 3 years to have normal vitamin D.
I'm just saying, a couple of week holiday is not going to fix it, man.
I was there for 7 weeks, bro. I should be fine now.
It's 52 in the year, my guy. It's not enough.
Fair enough. Well, anyway, look, we've it's been a while since we've done a pod. We missed it a lot. Shout out to everyone who listened to and watched the ranking pods, man. We enjoyed the hell out of those ones. Like that was listening back to it was fun. The Ruckman pod was super fun. That one, like, you know, we went through the history of Alberts.
Had a laugh,
you know, had a few, you know, Sandlands jokes and this and that. So yeah, shout out to those episodes, man. They were a lot of fun, and thank you for listening if you did.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, kind of surprised, but not really, that I didn't get as much hate of the Jack Steele omission in the midfielder one. So I guess the community agrees with me, or maybe they're just on the fence on it.
Apathetic, I think. They thought like, man, Dean's just.
Is there even a point arguing with this guy?
I know, like Dean's, he's a lost cause. You know, he's done.
Well, you know what? He has a great opportunity to prove himself come finals now. Because
you're right.
We'll talk about it later, but Saints somehow made the finals, man.
Yeah, that's true, man. True.
Good on them. And obviously, how could we go this far without acknowledging that there is a man missing on the couch?
The guy who's usually in my spot with the close proximity to Dean, the eye contact. It's I can see why he's concerned about it. It's very close. He's very close.
I might have to swap with you full time, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe you just rotate.
I miss being right at the end, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
But Georgie's on his way back from his holiday as well, so he'll be on the next pod. So safe travels, George.
Yeah, absolutely. He's tried his absolute best to get back in time for the Carlton game. I think he's almost like ended his holiday early just so he can, you know, watch Charlie Kerner kick a couple bags. It'd
be such a Carlton thing to do to George, specifically to George, that they just let him down when he literally ended his holiday early.
Yeah, because I think he extended, but when he was said, his boss kind of told him, "Oh, you know, take a month if you want, bro." And he's like, "Nah, I got to come back for Carlton." You know, so 2 weeks extra, and that's it. So hopefully, you know, the Carlton boys do him proud, and
you know what? If that's right though, then if Carlton does lose, he can just leave again.
Yeah, true. It's like, I'll take another week, you know, another couple of weeks to recover from the loss.
That's it, stress leave.
Yeah.
Well, look, we'll get to a finals preview towards the end. We thought maybe just touch up on what we've missed out on while we were gone. Maybe go through the bottom 8 teams first, give a positive, negative on how their season is and their sort of outlook moving forward. But I think we'll definitely do off-season proper review of each team. And sort of
down
like
the line.
The off-season free agent trade plans. But
I'm so keen for like the off-season because as North fans, you know, we off-season's where we shine and all the, you know.
Man, I've been waiting for this off-season since last off-season, bro. My draft knowledge is at an all-time high.
Yeah, fair enough.
But no, we'll get to that. So we're not too far off a bit of a North chat, but first up is the West Coast Eagles, Matsa. So these guys won 3 games, one of them while we were gone.
Yeah.
So me and Matsa were at a cafe in Greece. Watching the North game about midday.
Yeah, that was soul sucking.
I didn't think I could be so depressed on a holiday by footy. Served us right for watching it while overseas, I guess.
I know.
We sort of had it coming, didn't we?
Yeah, true. But look, with West Coast, a positive for them is that despite a depleted list, they actually show some life, surprisingly. You know, players like Tim Kelly showed up, has some random young guys who were popping up and doing some good things at points, Jimby, Hewitt. But yeah, no, I think Adam Simpson showed why they held on to him, because they played good football with such a poor list. So yeah, no, shout out to them.
I agree, man. My positive for them will probably be they do have a couple pieces that they can now look at moving forward. Like definitely Oscar Allen, gun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Goes without saying. You mentioned Jinby, you mentioned Hewitt. For me, they just need more. I don't know what they'll do this year with their draft stuff. Obviously, they've got pick one. Do they just get as many picks as they can, just fill out the list? Because they've had retirements. Like Nanui's gone now. I think of Shui as well is gone. Hearn.
Yeah, Hearn's gone
retired.
as well.
So
look, that's the thing with them, is that like there's not enough.
Yeah,
there's not enough to really be competitive straight away. So they need to bide their time and just collect talent. I don't know.
I think a negative for them overall in the year, I would say, is just too many games are being completely uncompetitive.
Yeah.
You know, you're letting Kerno kick 2 bags of 10 on you. Obviously, Tex kicked a bag on him as well. Multiple 100-point losses.
Yeah, that's the really they were important for the Coleman race. Really,
yeah.
Like some games were just like
Larky would have won it if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll talk more. I think their list needs a bit more of a deep dive. But just in terms of quick positive and negative, I think we've touched on the
MVP
main thing
for them.
It's got to be Oscar Allen.
Yeah,
100%.
I'd say between him and Tim Kelly. Because Tim Kelly had a huge year.
He did win their BNF, I saw.
He did. So we'll split okay. Mine's Tim Kelly, yours is Oscar Allen.
Fair enough.
As a little MVP for them. We'll jump over to the North. And look, it's a very weird season, right? Like I had the high. Like I'm going to admit this. I was so wrapped when we almost had the number 1 pick. Not going to lie. Like, I know there's a lot of North fans who are like, oh no, this isn't good. You know, I'm glad that in the end, because you couldn't tank the last round. You couldn't tank the last round. You can't tell players to lose. You know, so it was good that they got the win, but, you know, I don't know. It's just such a weird season. I
must say, man, like, obviously you were still away on your holiday and I was sitting here watching the game, and I was the same, honestly. Like, when West Coast beats you and then you're no longer having the number 1... you do have the number 1 pick suddenly, and he's Harley Reid. You're thinking, well, look, it's been such a bad year. Who cares? Just give us the best player. We know he's a gun.
Yeah.
And we'll just get on with it. But I will say, watching the game, as soon as I saw the fight back and just North piling on the goals, I'm thinking, you know what? Winning's fun. And we haven't done it enough. And true. I just really wanted to win it.
Yeah.
And I think the North fans all agree with that for the most part. And ultimately, I've just had this belief, if North really wants Harley Reid, they can still get him.
Yeah, for sure.
West Coast will be open to offers. We've got picks. Something can happen there. And if it doesn't, there's a few good players up there. We'll be fine. Like, we saw the impact of having Shees or Wardlaw.
Yeah.
Bang in the top 5, you know? So
I was going to say, like, that's probably the big positive is those 2 guys
nailed it.
Nailed it with those picks. And now you have about 4 or 5 A-graders, really. Or potential A-graders, you know, like LDU, those 2, Larky, Taron Thomas, who's decided to stay for an extra year. We'll see what happens there.
They're the 5. There's a few other B graders, and then a lot's going to change.
Yeah.
And again, we'll get into it in our full list review after the finals are done. But
of course, I was going to say, with the negative, it's just there was a lot of uncompetitive games. And but the thing is about it, the only thing that will make me slightly feel better is that we did have a lot of injuries. Yeah, I think that gets overlooked.
Look, a lot gets overlooked, mate. There was injuries like every team does, but we had them to LDU, Simkin. They couldn't get on the park together, man. A few of our keys like Common, CCJ, who were hoping to develop, injured. Bonner got injured. Start of the year, Mackay was
your boy
injured.
Bonner.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of Logue, man. Sorry.
Yeah, I say Bonner. I'm like, oh man, we lost Bonner.
Sorry. Griffin Logue got injured. You know, so there was a lot of key pillars that we were hoping to develop getting injured, which didn't help. Clarko, our coach, the best coach in the league, was missing most of the year.
True.
And look, we were more competitive than the recent years. Our percentage was better. The wins just weren't there. And I was at the Sydney game. Obviously, the interchange cost North the win. So, look, obviously it's not counted as a win, but you can't that game as a game where we should have won. There was a few other close ones against the Bombers.
There's two others, I think.
Yeah, the Bombers games were
and
close.
then St Kilda was close as well.
So look, honestly, I don't think we're as bad as a 3-win team. I think we're more like a 4 or 5-win team. Not that it matters. We still would have been second last.
Yeah.
But I think North, unlike West Coast, does have a few genuine pillars. Probably like a handful, like 2 or 3 more than West Coast does. So we're definitely ahead of them.
I'd say so, yeah.
And look, that last game was fun. Ending the season on a high, obviously, Larky All-Australian.
That's my MVP for the season.
Your MVP, All-Australian
That's my
Larky?
MVP, yep, Larky. He's the
Greasy
guy.
Suv.
Greasy Suv, man. Like, you know, and we were discussing it off the pod. If he didn't fix up his hair every like 30 seconds, he'd probably have 90 goals. Like he was, you know, that's a lot of energy spent, you know, fixing up the hair. But, you know, worth it though. He says still looks pretty decent.
There's something to be said for a key forward who's actually a dead-eye kick.
Yeah.
Goal. Like in an NBA game, if your main scorer is just a great foul shooter as well. Just 3 points, free money.
That's it. Actually, interesting thought. I saw someone post on Twitter. Is Nick Larky the best forward we've had since Wayne Carey? And honestly, maybe potential-wise, and like if we go based off career, I don't know. It's interesting.
Look, sometimes I find it hard because when I was a kid, back in the day, I found it hard to realize who was actually good on North and who did I just like because they were North players. Like, how good was Severia Rocker and like, I don't know.
Tomo.
Yeah, Thompson. How good was... I don't even know.
Drew Petrie?
Yeah, how good was Petrie genuinely as the competition standard versus how good Larky's been this year and probably will be? I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it hard to shuffle those ideas in my head. Maybe someone can tell us who's better. But
yeah. Look, I'm going to say yes. I think he's the best that we've had since. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. I think, honestly, I'm very tempted to also put Larky, but I'm going to give a different one as well. It's got to be Harry Shearsel for me, man.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I
think we should keep it different.
We'll try.
We'll keep the MVPs. Unless, some teams just don't have enough.
Oh, look, man, you know me. I'm a draft guy. I love when a team's not good, that young talent is just the hope for the future. And when you draft Shearsel, and we were at that debut game against the Eagles, round 1, and he's just playing randomly off halfback, racking up 30 touches, and we just couldn't believe it.
So smooth, so silky.
And you're just waiting all year for his form to dip like it does with rookies, and it just never did. Like, he had 1 or 2 games that were thereabouts 20 disposals, and people were acting like his form was off and Ashcroft's winning the Rising Star.
I know.
I'm sorry, man. I had an issue with that all year. Like,
same. I feel so vindicated. The fact that he won. He only missed 1 vote in the voting as well.
Rightfully
44 out of 45.
Yeah.
Which he should have had 45 out of 45, to be honest with you. But
it's ridiculous how good he is. And I was thinking the other day, like, if he never improves, like this is him for the rest of his career, he will still be in North Melbourne's team of the century.
Yeah, he's elite.
If he doesn't improve.
He's already elite. Like, it's done. He doesn't need to improve.
And you can guarantee with his work ethic, his fitness will go up at the very least. He'll become a bit bigger.
Yeah.
But even if everything else is exactly the same, this kid's going to be one of our best ever. Very exciting.
Absolutely. Who was third last this year?
Third last was the Hawks.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, a lot of positives to say about them just in regards to their play and their competitiveness against some better teams.
Yeah.
So, look, I think, going forward, they can just keep picking up guys that suit their game plan. And I think around their draft position, they might get a Thursma or there's some dudes who really fit their, quick pace style. So,
Well, it's kind of crazy how I think of them actually quite highly, but the reality is it's kind of similar to last year. They've been better this year, more consistent, but last year they took some big scalps as well. And they're still obviously a bottom 4 team.
Yeah.
This year, again, some huge scalps. They've won 7 games. That's pretty decent for a rebuilding team.
Yeah, then they're like, it's weird how the bottom 2 teams are clearly bottom 2.
Yeah.
Whereas these dudes, they were almost in the 8 hunt at one point, But yeah.
Well, I think for me, a massive positive for them was a very successful move to the midfield for Will Day.
Yes, yeah.
He's a freak, man. I've been saying it quietly all year. The next Bont. He's on the path, man.
Yeah, man.
He's on the path.
So they've got the next Bont. They got Newcomb, who's the next. I don't know.
Well, he made the All-Australian extended squad.
I was gonna say, like, who's he the next? Like, he's from the mid-season draft. They just got a little mini Clary. We'll say, I don't know, just for.
He's a very unique player, isn't he? It's hard to find a similarity?
I don't know. I can't really think of
Is he
one.
like
but
a Jack Viney, maybe?
maybe. But yeah, Newcomb's a gun. My boy Sissels is he does his thing. Finally gets the All Australian as well. Like he had a better year last year and he didn't win it, so it was a bit weird. But
I know, and he
know.
missed a big chunk of games this year as well.
yeah, really odd. But then I think it got to the point where it was undeniable. He has to make it for one of the
He's
2
too
years.
good, man.
Yeah,
It's a big reason why the Hawks are always after a key defender to play the proper key forward, so he can just roam and do what he does, man.
And that's what they're going to do this offseason, man. Apparently, they're preparing for Asava. They're preparing for Ben Mackay.
Hey, let them start the bidding war on Mackay so we can get pick 3, baby.
Absolutely. That's going to be that's going to anger some non-North fans. But look, mate.
Oh man, I've got things to say about this compensation stuff.
Oh man,
it's too late for it now. I'm saving it. Let it brew.
No.
That's all right. Let it
I like
cook.
it.
Yeah,
MVP Sissels for me.
fair. I'll go Day.
Fair enough.
And look, some negatives about them. Look, obviously, they're a rebuilding team. I don't think there's too many negatives based on the expectation. In fact, they outperformed how I thought they'd go. I think they just need a bit more consistency with the key forwards. Like Mitch Lewis is the only real one there.
Yeah,
of any note.
Kaczynski has a random good game here and there, but
I think, their next development level would be find someone else to go alongside him. But no, good on the Hawks. They've done well. I think their fans had a pretty fun year overall, despite how they've gone.
I'd be very heartened if I was a Hawks fan. So.
You would be. Yep. Okay, so in 15th place was the Gold Coast Suns, coached now by Damien Hardwick. That happened while we were gone.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, and he's very high on their list as well. 80% of the premiership list is there apparently. So that's an interesting call. And to be honest with you, I kind of think he's right, man. I find it hard to disagree.
It's kind of like, I get why he said it, but at the same time, I can't help but just feel for Stewie Jew. Like, he's basically saying this guy has essentially a premiership list in the waiting, and here I am going to come and make it happen because, you know what I mean? Like, I know that's not what he meant, but I feel bad for Dewey, man.
He's a bit like Mark Jackson at Golden State Warriors, and then Steve Kerr just came in to steal all the thunder. Yeah,
but is there a Steph Curry on this list, Matsa? Is there a Draymond Green on this list? I don't know.
Is there a Draymond Green? It's a weird because I feel like
Matty Rao's
probably the Draymond Green, just the dirty work type dude. Who's the Steph Curry? What, Noah Anderson?
Nah, no. They don't have one. There's no Steph on that team. Steph Curry's like a Dacos, man. Come on.
Yeah, true. Who's the Ben King equivalent? Because I think Ben King's actually very, very good.
Kevon Looney, I don't know.
He's a bit, maybe the Wiggins or something. I don't know.
Well, look, he said there's 80% of their list there. Look, they do have a good list, which is why it's disappointing that yet again they've got nowhere near finals in the end.
Sorry to cut you off, but maybe Steph Curry, Flanders, man. Maybe it's
He played like it in the last couple of rounds.
He did, man. He earned himself a 4-year contract when they were thinking of sending him off, shipping him off for a pick and stuff. He's a gun.
Or maybe it is on Jew a bit. I mean, why wasn't he playing all year?
That makes no sense to me. Yes, Flanders is a gun. I think the only player who got more disposals than him in the last 6 rounds was Errol Goulden.
Wow.
And we know Errol Goulden's a gun. So,
well, there you go. I mean, and there's talk that they're going to trade their first round pick because they've got 3 academy players coming. One of them is Jed Walter, who's
another compromise draft for North.
But no, North doesn't deserve help anyway. Most of our top picks have been robbed from us anyway. But look, this kid's apparently a key forward, Kerno-esque potential. That's very high praise, but he's got a crazy athletic build apparently.
Which makes a few dudes expendable, like Chol.
Yeah, he's gone apparently.
Casbolt, even. Yeah, no, I've heard. Yeah, Chol's he's on the chopping block.
So interesting there. Then I guess they've got a few forwards you can say in King and the new guy.
Yeah,
Humphrey's around developing.
Yeah,
Tuke, Anderson, Rao is always good. Flanders.
That's 80%, bro.
Wits.
That's very close to 80%. You know what, man? I reckon.
He's probably got a point. Like, there's a talented list.
Collins, Ballard, they're solid.
So, but how long do we say it's a good list? But then again, they've only had a couple more wins than the Hawks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do we just blame it on Stewie Jew?
No, I love Stewie.
I love Stewie Jew as well, but I think we just got to blame old faithful Stewie Jew.
Well, look, this is the equivalent of North getting Clarko in a way. Like, this is a premiership coach, multiple premiership coach. Knows how to manage a few egos on that Richmond list. Got the best teamwork out of him. So this is the moment for the Suns next year.
Yeah.
Finals is sort of an expectation with a list that good, apparently.
It should be.
It should be.
So yeah. MVP. Who we go on MVP? I might go Noah Anderson for MVP. I think he was their best player this year.
I'll go. Is it Ballard, the intercept defender?
Yep.
Charlie Ballard. I'll go for him. Just to be a bit different. I think
I like it.
He got a lot of praise first half of the year, sort of died off in the second half. But
all the Ballard love went away.
It went away,
It
but
really went away.
I'll keep it there for him. I'll
that's
keep
good,
it there.
man. Flowers to Ballard, man.
Mainly because this pod disappeared for a few weeks and
Yeah, true.
I only had good Ballard in my mind. But
Yeah, fair.
fair enough. So next, 14th, and I'm going to go in on this team a bit, maybe unfairly, Freo.
Oh, yeah, fair enough, man.
Okay.
Finals
Now,
last year.
We actually, when George gets here, you know what we should prepare is looking back at our ladder prediction. We didn't have enough time to prepare for this one, but I'm pretty sure we had these guys in 9th position, barely missing out on finals, but we felt bad doing it.
Yeah, we did. I remember that.
Now, maybe they overachieved last year, and they were bound to just take a half step back before they go forward again. But they were pretty crap this year and very inconsistent.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's kind of odd that the two highest disposal getters were both Fremantle players, Sarong and Brayshaw. So they're getting it out of the midfield.
Well, they've got great rucks and good on-ballers. So what's gone wrong there? Jaya misdeveloped. They've got a few, like Schultz in the forward line, decent small forward.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
The defense is the defense dropped off? Because you've got older guys in there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's look, I don't know. I don't know.
Pierce is aged. He's not as good.
Yeah,
maybe that doesn't help.
Yeah, they don't really have a really good key defender there.
But they've got Ryan had a great year and Young had a great year.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're a tough one to analyze, and obviously we're from Victoria, so we don't really watch them enough.
Yeah.
So again,
that's true. It is true.
I probably don't watch them enough to know, but Hayden Young played a bit of midfield at the end of the year. I don't know. Do they reshape their midfield that way? What do they do with the Sean Darcy / Luke Jackson combo? Can you get value out of Sean Darcy and get more draft assets? I don't know. But at the same time, I think having Darcy there and Luke Jackson is so dangerous. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I want to just go in a little bit on their list management, just for this one reason, right? Okay. So last season, Luke Jackson wants to go to Freo, right? And it's all a sob story, like let him come. He wants to come. You shouldn't restrict players from going where they want to go. This year, Liam Henry wants to leave, who's not a fringe. He's in their 22, but he's not one of their A graders.
No.
And their fans, their list management, is just having the biggest sook.
You're right.
You stole he'll be the ruckman of the next generation. You just took him. You paid for him, but you took him. But no, Liam Henry wants to leave, and you're having a big cry about it.
Yeah, it's like, we put all this time, this NGA stuff. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you on that, man.
Get a grip, mate. Seriously.
Players leave. It's how it is what it is, man.
Especially when you've benefited from it recently.
Yeah.
Exactly. Come on, man. Anyway, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, anyway. Interesting to see where he goes. North, Hawthorn, St Kilda, I've heard, as well as an option.
Yeah, St Kilda is in every rumour. True. Which player are they not in for?
And then they get the 5th option.
Yeah. But okay. MVP for Freo.
Sarong.
This might be the first one we agree with.
Yeah.
It has to be Sarong.
Do we go Sarong and Brayshaw, just so we can include both the guys?
Yeah, why not? Okay.
Yeah, we'll go Sarong and Brayshaw, MVPs.
Okay. Richmond in 13th. Transition year for Richmond. Hardwick left them.
Yeah.
Done with coaching until a couple of weeks later when he was remotivated.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever heard of annual leave, Matsa.
Look, I think there's a little bit of AFL being like, look, bro, we're going to set you up at Gold Coast. Quit your job. I think there's a little bit of that going on because AFL is, they own Gold Coast.
Bit of a Paul Roos tap on the shoulder to Melbourne situation.
I agree. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So I think Richmond might be a little bit hard done by in that sort of regard. But look, I think there's a lot of talent there, but it just sucks that you have a bad year and you don't have your pick this year because you got Hopper. You know what I mean? Like,
that's gross.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's uncomfortable for me.
But you know what? It's their fault, mate, because teams like Richmond sometimes need to accept that the dynasty's over. It's okay.
Yeah.
You had memories that your fans and you will remember forever.
Yeah.
It's okay to save your your first round pick and not bring in Hopper, who's not going to probably be as good as a young up and coming top 10 mid will be. So for me, they've sort of shot themselves in the foot now because he's not a ceiling raiser.
No, he's
Good
just
player.
a solid. He's a solid, inside mid, and that's about it. And those, I feel like solid inside mids. There's options this year. You could have just picked up Paddy Dow this year. You know what I mean? For nothing. But anyway.
Yeah.
They're in a bit of a weird spot. They're going to be really heavily reliant on keeping Dusty for another couple of years. Samson Ryan becoming a better player. Tom Lynch coming back from his injury. And that was a big out. Tom Lynch is he's such a focal point for them. So I guess you can cut him a little bit of slack there, but I don't know.
I think, they definitely have like Taranto, Dusty, Bolton, Lynch are 4 incredible players.
Yeah, they're A grade plus, A plus graders.
And then guys like Prestia, Short, quality players.
Yeah. Did Gibcus play a game?
I can't recall.
Yeah.
No.
I don't remember him playing a game this year. So that's another one
Bit
of talent, good, intercept / key defender. So, there's did Dylan Grimes retire as well?
Ooh,
I feel like he retired as well.
possibly.
Grimy. So it's like they're in a weird scenario where it's just like they're going to hope for a lot of progression from young dudes really quickly. So,
well, they won't. I'm confident they won't bottom out, but they can have this exact same year next year. Would not surprise me. In fact, I would predict it as of now.
Yeah, you heard it here first from Theona.
Hey man.
Anyway, MVP for.
I'm really right though. So Richmond fans probably
top four is covered,
or less. Ooh,
yeah,
bottom 4. Nah. Okay, MVP for the Tigers.
Dusty for me.
He turned it on in the second half of the year, didn't he?
Yeah. When Taranto decided to stop playing well and stop scoring good in Supercoach, he's like,
What? My impression is that Bolton had a great year, but again, I missed a bit of a chunk of it.
Yeah, actually, no, he had a good year. He did have a good year. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, in giving a different answer, I'll go for him. Even though Taranto's a bit stiff to miss out, but his second half was a bit flat.
Yeah, it leaves a bit of a sour taste in the mouth, to be honest with you, the final part of the year. But, it just wasn't, it's because we all had him in Supercoach and we all loved him at the start of the year. He was a captain option and then he was averaging, 95 for the rest of the year. And it's like, what's going on here?
Back to the Italian butcher shop.
Back to the, Taranto, the Italian butcher of old. And the guy used to burn me every single year for GWS. But anyway.
Fair enough, man.
I digress.
You digress. Well, let's move on to the 12th place team, which is the Cats, the Premiers. What happened, Cats?
I don't know, mate. The retirement home.
The team that never misses finals.
I know. That whole retirement joke thing that they did, man. I guess it was true in the end, man.
Jeez. Well, look, I will say this, Their percentage was 112, which was better than the Swans who were in the 8, better than the Giants, better than the Saints, and just about where Carlton is. So they're winning big sometimes, but, man, they just fell flat way too many times.
Yeah, so I guess it was probably... They had to rely on a bit of inexperience in the midfield at points, like Tanner Bruin getting a run in there. Bose, who even though he's been around for a while, Bose he hasn't played that many games. Bose, who's the other young guy that they were chucking in there?
They throw in Atkins and Holmes and
Holmes is the other young guy. Like all the young boys, the kittens, as some might call them. The kittens, they need to mature a little bit. They're
Well, here's my issue, man. You call them kittens, but this is on Chris Scott. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I've been on this guy for a while. I think he's been blessed with the best possible list a first-time coach has ever had, including winning the premierships.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm just saying he's been blessed, like big time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he looks too similar to Brad Scott.
We'll get to Brad, man.
We'll get to Brad.
We'll get to Brad. I've got more things to say.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not a fan of the Scott brothers. But what I will say is there were times this year I'm seeing their on-ballers, and you're talking about trying to develop a midfield. He would have in there Tom Stewart that you're lucky to have on your list. You're lucky to have a player that good in your halfback. You're playing him on ball. Disgrace. Okay? You have nothing to benefit from that.
Nah.
Okay? You're playing then alongside him. What's his name? The little small forward. Not Myers.
Not Atkins. What?
Oh my God.
Stengel.
No, not Stengel.
They play a small.
Long sleeves.
Long sleeve. Oh, close.
Yes. Stuart, Close, and like Blitzarves is your on-ballers. You deserve this. No, I'm sorry. You've recruited
enough.
Bose. You've recruited Bruin. You've got a young kid in the VFL that you've drafted with the Bose
Jai
pick.
Clark, yeah.
Jai
Yeah.
Clark.
Mm.
You refuse to throw him in. All right. You've got... Fair enough, Dangerfield was injured.
Mm.
You deserve this bad year because you haven't prepared for the next stage. Fair enough, they were going for a premiership. They got it.
Mm.
But don't complain when players want to all come to Geelong. You get them all, and then you can't even make the finals or even get close. Disgraceful.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Stewart thing in the midfield, teams like North were just screaming out for an intercept defender, and you're pissing the best one in the league away besides Sicily
Yeah.
in the
true.
midfield.
That
To
is
what
bad.
benefit, mate? Like,
I don't
it's
get
on you, mate. I'm sorry. That's
No.
just horrible.
Yeah. I was gonna say, speaking of Tom Stewart, MVP. No further discussion. There's not a second guy who deserves it.
No, it would have been Cameron, but he fell off a cliff, man.
Yeah,
After he got injured and everything.
Yeah. After what's his name? The guy Rowan butchered him. After that,
I'm not going to say he's my MVP, but I'll say second place is Graham Myers.
you know what?
Good year.
Yeah, no, you know what? You're right. No, he deserves a shout out. Then
Deserves a
he
bit of a
does
shout.
deserve a shout out.
Okay. From one Scott brother to another, we have now the Bombers in 11th.
Alright,
I'm going to try to like wipe the grin off my face first.
All right, let's start with the good things. They were, I think it was 7 wins last year, and then 11 wins this year. So natural progression is there.
Yeah.
Natural progression is
That's
there.
fair.
And at one stage, I thought they were a formidable side. I'm like, oh well, the Bombers, they're coming, man. They're coming. But then, in Brad Scott fashion,
All right. We're North fans, aren't we, Matsa, right?
apparently, yeah.
We are, yeah. So we had Brad Scott as our coach for many years. And
Yeah.
people will probably be thinking, yeah, well, that's the last time you were good, you idiot. Maybe you're right. But what I will say is this. Every time North Melbourne achieved something, and by something I mean a couple prelims, what happened? We didn't just lose.
We got blown out.
We got blown out, brother. Like, I don't want to talk to anyone for 3 weeks blown out.
Yeah. The little brother that you threw in there was a bit of Hulk Hogan. We got blown out, brother.
It brings out
Yeah.
the animal in me, man.
Yeah, that's it, man.
So that's the reality.
Yeah.
Brad Scott is a solid coach. He is good at certain things.
Yeah. Home and away season coach.
Home and away season coach, as soon as there's something on the line, I don't know what I can't tell you why. I'll just tell you the facts. As soon as the Essendon fans build up hope, not just missing finals with a few disappointing performances, embarrassing, disgusting, should never happen at any point of the season losses.
Yeah,
but
but
you do back to back.
that was like West Coast losses, bro. And you were contending for finals.
You're playing the Giants, who was your direct competition to make the finals, and you don't just lose, mate. Like
That's-
shitting the bed's like a compliment.
Yeah,
Like,
that was corruption. Like that was that bad. Like how can
Man.
you? I don't understand how that happened. But like, and here's a little thing as well about Brad Scott, right? And part of me thinks that it wasn't him who actually wanted this player, right? But how can you go saying we want guys? It's not the effort on the field. It's it's what happens off the field, right? You talk about that, and then all of a sudden you get linked with Taron Thomas, who's Mr. Off Field. That's dumb. That is so dumb. Personally, I don't think that Essendon put it out there. I reckon it was Taron Thomas's management that put that out there. That Brad Scott loved his time with Taron Thomas or something. Like, it's just the dissonance of that though. You know, is crazy.
exactly
Yeah.
right, man. I don't know. And the thing is, like, you're right. They did improve this year.
Yeah.
But to end the season like that is classic Brad Scott. And I'm telling you, Bombers fans, it'll keep happening. Even if you make the finals next year, it's going to happen. I promise you, if you make the finals next year, you will get blown out. There's no way it happens otherwise. It's going to happen.
And it's going to be glorious for non-Bomber fans. Let's be
Exactly
honest.
right.
It's
Like-
going to be great.
Man.
Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong, Bradley Scott. Yeah, MVP.
MVP for the Bombers. Okay.
It's got to be Merritt. There's no. Yeah, I'm done. I'm cool with that.
Merritt is definitely their best player. I will
Yeah.
give an alternate option, just as it seems to be a nice little flow we've got.
Yeah.
Kyle Langford.
Yeah.
I've been talking
I like that.
about him all year. I think it's fair. He's in a world where medium forwards usually are spoken of like, what are they really providing? He's been a genuine goal scorer, especially in clutch moments.
And he also gave us one of the best quotes like of the off season so far. It's just like I'm going to be looking for answers from Scott, You know, that's a sick quote.
Did you? I
love
didn't
that.
even see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
He's literally like, look, man, like, mate, we were like top 6 at one point, and then this happened. Like, he basically said, you know, like, I'm bewildered. Like, you know, I'm going to be asking Brad Scott for some answers. That is so honest.
Well, that's the issue.
So honest.
It's so honest, and the issue is, Kyle, I'm telling you, there's no answer, mate. Brad
No.
Scott doesn't know. Like, he's not doing anything wrong on purpose.
No,
he doesn't know why.
He's a politician.
It just
he's
happens,
a politician.
man.
He's gonna lie to your face, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it is.
And then he'll go on AFL 360. He'll say all the right things. He'll kiss a few babies. And
yeah,
he'll be
that's
happy.
it, man. And Jared Waitley and Robbo will be like, double look, Scott. They'll enjoy it. Anyway,
let's move on. The Crows finished 10th.
Man, they're a finals team.
So we were gone, yeah, and there was a bit of controversy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, if I was an Adelaide Crows fan, I'd be rioting. That was nuts, bro.
Well, look, it's a bit of yesterday's news at the moment, but we can quickly talk about it.
Yeah, as we should.
And I've been on the refs all year, like, famously. Right?
The Dino umpire, section of the pod was a highlight.
Well, look, they're lucky we weren't around when this happened, because the ARC or the VAR, whatever it's called in this league, is just an abomination.
Yeah, so ARC is, I'm pretty sure that's like the Snicko.
That's actually all right.
Yeah, that's okay. But then the VAR, or I don't know what it's called, review, AFL review system. It should be VAR. They should invest in the big stadiums to have that technology.
The issue is, man, like, it sucks when there's like, did it touch the hand? Is there a blurred? You're looking for the blurry vision. Like, that's one type of bad. But this was like a different beast. This mistake they made. Like, goal umpire should have seen it. Reviews, apparently every goal's reviewed. Did it get reviewed? Obviously not. So anyway.
Yeah. But they say every goal gets reviewed, but does every behind get reviewed?
That's the issue.
Obviously that I don't know. Yeah, because that's... And the thing that confuses me, how did the umpire... How is he so sure that it hit the post?
I don't know, bro.
That's...
It's been spoken about to death, so we won't go on too much. But look, the Crows were unlucky, definitely, in that game.
They literally make the finals. They swap spots with Sydney. So look, that's That's the positive for them, is that these guys are a finals team, and they've re-signed Matt Crouch randomly to a 2-year deal.
Came alive at the end of the year.
He did. So all of a sudden, it's like, I don't know if I like the move, because I just feel like he's going to get frozen out at the end of next season again. But I like the fact that they're finding their feet, they're finding an identity. And I think he should be there, to be honest with you, because they were lacking some inside grunt. So
and there's certain games where you just need more physicality.
Yeah.
Like, you might be coming across the Dogs midfield and you say, you know what? We need someone to stand up toe-to-toe with Libba in the clearance battle.
Someone a bit bigger.
Someone a bit bigger,
than
so
the current mids that they have in there.
Yeah. There's a place for him for sure.
Yeah.
But no, look, for me, a big highlight of their game was just X Factor going forward, like Tex, Rank, and ballers, man.
Yeah. And I think Rochelle sort of dropped off a little bit towards the end of the year, but even then, those three on their own, super talented dudes, man. Super talented. Super clean, good kicks, good field kicks.
You got like Laird, Dawson. There's a lot to like.
Absolutely.
And their defense is sort of like no-namey, but just solid.
Yeah,
a lot of
Murray's really good.
Murray's all right. Butts is decent.
Yeah. Who are these?
McElhaney.
McElhaney. Who are these guys, man? Hinge
actually was all right. I had him in draft near the end of the year.
He did too.
He was pretty good.
He did too.
But look, I think the Crows next year is one of those years where it's like, okay, we're an up-and-coming team. We've shown we can match it with the big boys. Next year's finals.
Absolutely.
And that's a big step a team's taken from like bottom 4 or 5, whatever they were last year, to this point.
They've turned around super quick in my eyes. From they were in a final, they went down, they had some controversy, and they've just bounced back up. Tex on his own as an individual has bounced back crazily, and just the team in general, So, big Crows fans over here.
Yeah, well, I'd love North to have a year like they did. Like, that'd be fantastic. MVP for the Crows.
Oh, Dawson for me. It's got to be Dawson.
I'll go Tex.
Cool. I like it.
70+ goals.
Yeah, but I think both all Australians.
Yeah,
so very fitting.
Excellent. Next up in 9th, the Dogs. They stuffed up hard.
See, interesting thing with the Dogs, right, is that we did a little recording, right, of like, you know, who do you think the best midfield is? And I was going to make a TikTok out of it / YouTube short. And in the end, I felt bad in doing it because it was a bit late. Like it was months ago. And Georgie's best midfield was the Bulldogs. And since he made that call, their midfield has been horrible. They're not winning clearances. They're getting beaten in the midfield with Bont and Libba. It's crazy. And then they're playing McRae up forward and Bailey Smith's not getting any run in the guts. Like
Bevo has copped it for a little while
Yeah.
for mixing up his position of players and random stuff. Like, Bailey Smith not being a bit more prominent in the midfield. You've got Lob on the wing. You're playing forwards in defence, defenders in forward. Ultimately, this year it cost him.
Yeah.
You can't have a team that good on paper. And look, honestly, it all just comes down to, like, we can argue, should they have finished 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th? They were definitely capable of finishing in one of those spots.
Yeah, they were capable of top 4, man. Like
Maybe.
If you just look at the talent on the list,
Maybe, yeah.
their talent is sky high.
Yeah.
I think one thing that, if I'm going to give him a little bit of grace, is the idea that, like, Liam Jones came in and was one of the best defenders in the league. He was all Australian form, and then he goes out.
Yeah.
But even then,
Still,
you can't just be
yeah.
so reliant on one guy.
No. And the reality is, despite the up and down year, they had second last game of the year, West Coast at Marvel, and they blew it. Like, that's an almighty choke.
Yeah. And not only that, but them losing that, they teased Harley Reid to me for a week. You know how many times I watched all his highlights that week? It was crazy.
You and me both, man.
You know. But anyway.
Very disappointing for them.
Yeah, no, that's super poor. Like, I don't know.
I think know where they go from here, though.
Yeah, I think he's cashed in all his credits from winning the premiership. I think he's cashed them all in.
Yeah.
I think his time's up. But I don't know. Like, at the same time, do you reckon he's got a bit of Brad Scott politician vibe as well, doesn't he? But just more aggressive. Like, you just know that he's willing to punch a journo in the throat.
See, that's
You know
the
what I
thing.
mean?
Yeah, Bevo doesn't have time for the media.
Yeah,
Whereas
he
Brad
just-
Scott, like, low-key wants to be asking questions to himself and giving the political answer.
Yeah,
you know?
I reckon Brad Scott practices in the mirror.
100%.
Or is, you know,
Him and Chris interview each other.
Yeah, for sure. So Brad Scott's he's practicing in the mirror. Bevo, he's practicing by, you know, hitting a boxing bag. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I reckon he like smashes a glass bottle on his head just before he goes in there. If just one of those fake ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or a real one, maybe. Who knows, man?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. He's on early next year, first coach to be sucked watch, to be
Yeah,
honest.
man, I'm on it now. I can get rid of him now. Move on.
I wouldn't be opposed to that, given the nature of how the season ended.
Yeah, if there's a good coach out there, go get him. Stewie Jew, man.
I would love him to be assistant at North, just quietly.
Stewie
'Cause,
Jew.
we've lost Rats.
Yeah, actually, no, straight up.
Played under Clarko.
Hands off Jew.
He's ours.
He's ours, man. Mate, I'd love to see him in the blue, man. Like, legit.
yeah.
Oh,
He'd wear it well.
I reckon it'd fit him better than the red.
Yeah.
Blues would be more slimming, so you know I think that'd be a bit more.
And our
fitting.
stripes, vertical stripes.
Even vertical stripes. Yeah,
We love you, Dewey.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Now, this is surprising, man. My last memory of Sydney, of like consciously paying attention to them, was when we should have beat them with the interchange controversy.
Yeah,
And they were so lacking in confidence that day and in the rounds prior. And then that win just like transformed their season. And they've ended up 8th.
I
Credit to
know,
them.
that's crazy, man.
Like, that's nuts.
What are we talking about Sydney right now?
Oh, sorry. We didn't do the MVP for the doggies.
Yeah, but is the
Sydney's
next?
next.
Oh, are they? But they're 8th though. We can just talk about the preview of the games now, I reckon.
Oh, sorry, bro. Yeah.
So yeah, MVP's quick one. Bont Libba. Anyone else you want to?
Bond.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll go into preview the games a little bit
And
and
we'll-
make our predictions and stuff.
Yeah, we'll do that same mini review for whichever teams get eliminated as they go.
Yeah, I reckon.
But for now, all right, let's get into the games, man. This is exciting. So we had a week off footy. Matt's is back.
Yeah,
George will be back.
I've had like 2 months off footy.
That's it, man. George will be back. I'm back. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
So Thursday night, blockbuster. Pies in first place, hosting the D's at the G.
I think this is probably one of the bigger 50-50s for me. I don't think it's...
Dacos is out.
Yeah, that's a big out.
I'm pretty sure Moore is in.
Yeah. which is big.
which is
Very
also
big.
huge.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, I might need to be reminded. I think they split.
Melbourne won in the they won the Queen's birthday game. I think the main thing that needs to happen for Collingwood, they just need to play with pace. They just need to play with pace because Melbourne have such a strong defense where they're going to pick up. They'll pick off everything if you don't play aggressively. So, yeah, if they do that, then they probably win. But I don't really know, man.
Well, the D's, I just need to remind myself as well. So Fritsch is out, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be in or not because that's a big swing.
That's a huge swing, bro. He actually caused heaps of headaches last time they played.
Yeah.
They didn't have the correct matchup for Bailey Fritsch, and he tore him to shreds. Oliver's back. Gorn's a bit better when he's on his own, and I think they're going to stay that way. The Grundy debate's been a bit weird one. We knew it was coming.
I think they really they should just stick with just Gorn and have a couple key forwards who can actually play key forward.
Yep. But I guess Grundy against the Pies, bit of extra motivation, maybe.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
This shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
So, look, it's a bit cliche, but Melbourne's midfield, if it takes over like we have seen it do in the past in previous final series, like including Gorn, Petrarca, Viney, Oliver, if they all just play out of their skin like they're easily capable of doing, that's a large portion of the game that Collingwood will struggle to wrestle back.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Darcy, Cameron, and Cox have been confirmed to play, but do they stand a chance against Gorn? Like,
not if Gorn's in the mood.
Yeah, Gorn goes God mode when he's by himself. Like when he rucks by himself, he's a freak. So yeah, I don't know. Am I talking myself into a Melbourne tip?
I think people are keen to do that. I think everyone low-key wants the Collingwood-Carlton matchup.
Yeah, no, true.
I still just think, though, let's give Collingwood some credit here. Like, they've had injuries to two of their best players for weeks.
Yeah.
And they still finished clear first by a win. Yeah. On 72 points, they finished the year. Best percentage in the league. I'm not going to tip against them in the finals. Now, after all this year of being hard to beat, this is the time where I'm going to back them rather than think that it's going to end with no logic.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll stick with you on that one. As much as it would be cool to see them lose, like to see them go out in straight sets and lose against Carlton.
Oh man,
that would be lovely.
I'd want that, but I'm going to give them some credit for the year they've had. I'm not going to tip against them.
Yeah, fair enough.
So speaking of Carlton now, Friday night, Carlton's hosting the Swans at the G.
Yeah. Look, on paper, I can't see Carlton losing this. Just because their midfield is so much more stronger, bigger, and aggressive than Sydney's is. And you couple that with the fact that Charlie Curnow isn't going to have a big beast defender on him. Like, who's going to match up on him?
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, he's the best forward in the comp, and there's no matchup I think that the Swans have that's good enough.
No.
Is McCartan back?
Tom McCartan. Yeah, maybe. I think he might be in. But again, I don't think he's like this. As we've seen by the guys that they're linked with, they want a key defender who can match up with the best, and they don't
obviously have it.
Obviously, they don't rate McCartan if they're going to be chasing Ben Mackay.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's a bit ominous, but like at the same time, Sydney, even though they luckily got into the 8, they've been one of the better. They've been one of the informed teams of the comp since they beat us. Really, they've won a lot of games, so can't really rule them out. But I don't know. I'm going with the Blues for this one.
Fair enough, man. They've played quite a few finals at the G over the last 5-10 years. This one's and generally been okay. I don't know. Like the only thing I'm thinking is Carlton's done so well to this point. Does the pressure just get to them? Like it's a huge expectation,
as it usually does. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like incredible that they turned it around. A lot of those wins, what got them going was a few favourable fixtures. Like they had the Hawks and Freo and got their mojo going. But then they had some genuinely good wins.
But I was going to say I do have some concerns with Carlton as well because when Georgie was in Melbourne, they were really shit. George goes to Greece. They start playing really well. George is going to be back in Melbourne for this game, and that's a variable that I don't know if Carlton can really, I don't know if they can work their way out of that one. Like that's
It's actually so hard to argue against that.
It's empirical.
Yeah,
It's not even. This isn't even just superstition or anything. This is empirical data that when George is here, they don't win. So because he can't be happy for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. But
or maybe George going away and finally relaxing, getting deserved time off.
You're
it's
right.
like a new George coming back.
You're right.
That Carlton can please.
Maybe. I hope so. I hope that's the case. But yeah, so that's what Sydney have going for them is the Georgie factor.
Yeah.
But still, I'm gonna go with the Blues.
Yeah. For Georgie, I'll go the Blues. I don't want to see sad George on the first pod back.
Oh man, we want to see at least one happy Georgie, like one happy Carlton rant, because it was like before we left, every week it was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, like, how can we be so bad? I can't. That was great. That was great content. Not gonna lie.
We need one lids off pod from George.
Yeah, exactly.
The pod needs it.
Yeah, exactly. For the ratings, we need it.
That's it. All right. Carlton tips all the way. Now, the next one's the 50-50 one.
Yep.
Saints hosting the Giants at the G again.
Saints, Giants, G.
And it's a Saturday afternoon, 3:20 bounce.
This is interesting because these are two teams who I did not have in the top 8 at the start of the year.
No. Neither.
So these are two risers. But like the informed team is the GWS, man. They're rebounding. Their rebound 50s. Their midfield is, I think they've finally got a decent balance in there because you've got there's no real plodding bad kicks in there anymore. Taranto and Hopper. Now it's just like, Tom Green, who's inside ball, quick. Actually he has a decent outside game. Canelio, the same thing. Canelio's a little bit of a butcher himself, but there's only one of them.
Yeah.
So their balance right now for a team is amazing. They don't have Toby Bedford though. That is a bit of an out, for the forward structure, for the pressure. But regardless of that,
it's interesting. Yeah, I totally agree, man. It's interesting for me because the Saints, you would think their defense will hold up in the finals type atmosphere, right? So they've got that going for them. And the Giants attack, like Toby Green, obviously, what a captain, All-Australian captain. Great year, right? So can an attack be led by him against a really stingy defense? You're going to have to rely on Riccardi to step up. A few other guys to pop up with goals. Hogan, of course. I don't know. I can see a world where Hogan doesn't have much influence because sometimes the key forwards in a big final just can get nullified by just less quality ball coming in if the team defense is good, things like that, right? So I'm looking more at Riccardi, Green, maybe Caniglio pops up with one or two. It's going to be interesting, man. I think it'll be very close. I don't think either team is good enough to blow the other out.
No, I agree. That's one of the most intriguing games for me, just purely based on the fact that these teams were not expected to be there at all. So,
I'm happy to play the form team and go the Giants.
Same, to be honest with you.
Despite being the away team, I don't think they have much of a home advantage anyway, to be fair. Like, they play wherever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, look, I think with the Saints, Max King's going to be, he's one of the dudes where if he can bully Sam Taylor, if Sam Taylor plays, because he was out last week, that's going to make a difference for them. Because
they got Owens as well. He's good.
Yeah, true. I don't trust their midfield. That's the issue with them. Because whereas GWS, you kind of know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get from Steele week in, week out, unfortunately. He was, look, if we're going to go back to the list talk.
Now's the time for him to step up, bro.
No, I agree. If he steps it up, mate, I'm bumping him from 7th to 3rd. But yeah, because he's had a weird year. Last 2 years, really. Brad Crouch, he has. I feel like he's one of those dudes who's randomly a big game player. So I don't know.
Well, he can find the ball. The issue for me with the Saints is, can they move the ball from defense, where they do quite well up the ground and score quickly. When they do that, they win games. Like they've won quite a few games this year, scoring about 90 odd points, and the opposition's on like 50 something. So they can shut a team out and just slowly and surely kick away. But guys like Higgins, Owens, and if King's playing, need to just be on it in the attack. They can't waste opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Oh, I'm changing my own mind now. You know what? For Chris, I'll go Saints. That's for
Fair
you.
enough.
That's for you, Chris.
For Chris,
Loyal
that's cool.
viewer of the pod.
Yeah,
Chris,
man.
Saints are for you, mate.
Shout out to Chris, man. Shout out to Chris. Flowers for Chris.
Yeah, that's it.
Flowers. What's the next one, man?
Last game
one.
is at the Gabba. The Lions hosting the Power.
Just please win, Brisbane. Please, man. Please.
Can I just bring up something as well?
Yeah.
Like, there was a bit of Port hate in the beginning of the year. Obviously, the whole Horn Francis and North beef that I had. I've since forgiven Horn Francis famously. In fact, next time I see him, I'll give him a hug. Like, we're on such good terms. This is
thank you for Wardlaw and Cheezel.
Thanks for Wardlaw and Cheezel.
Thanks,
It's
bro.
worked out well, right? But my thing is this year. How many games did Port win in a row? It was like a stupid number, right?
Was it 11 or something? I can't remember.
Might have been a few more. Anyway,
Yeah.
they've gone on this almighty win streak. Port's amazing. Don't even give Hinkley the contract there. Don't distract them. They're in the zone. They're winning every week. How did they not get a home final, bro?
Yeah, true.
Like, these
True.
guys, you can't even play at Amy in a prelim, and you're going to lose to the Lions at the Gabba. That's the Gabbatron, mate. You're gone over there.
Yeah, here's their chance. Prove us wrong, man. Butters, Rosie, lads, prove us wrong. Prove us wrong.
The funny thing is, though, both the Saints and the Giants, whoever wins that, are stubborn and weird enough teams to be able to beat Port in Adelaide. I'm convinced of it. They could get swept. I'm going to call the prediction right now.
Collingwood and Port sweep.
Nah. I've tipped Collingwood, but Port swept.
Ooh.
That's my prediction.
Dino bringing out the broom.
And it's not got nothing to do with my previous Port hate. It's just literally a reaction to the situation they're in. You're going to lose to the Lions, and then you're going to play possibly a stingy, weird defensive team in the Saints, or a scrappy underdog that doesn't quit in the Giants. And that's dangerous, bro.
Yeah, true.
They're going to have nothing to lose.
I like it. I like it, man. That look, the thing is, and I like it because they're going to be contending for the next 10 years anyway, Port, by the look of their list.
Probably, yeah.
Like, and if they get Grundy next year, they're going to be OP, man.
Yeah.
They're going to be OP because they've been doing it without a proper ruck this whole year. Like, they're shuffling between Lysette, Vizentini. What's that? Isn't Vizentini like a fruit or something? I don't know. Like, Vizentini. Who else?
I've got no idea.
I think it's some sort of fruit in Italian. Like, Vizentini. Maybe like orange or a tangerine or something. I don't really know. But, if they had a proper ruckman, it'd be crazy.
I'm saying they've got no chance against the Lions. If they do have a chance, Marshall needs to go off. Is he playing? He's playing, yeah. Marshall's fit. Is my guy Charlie Dixon, he's out. So
is he out? Oh.
A couple of weeks out.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah, look, Butters and Rozzy and the like can turn it on and win games. Like, we've seen it countless times this year, but the Lions at the Gabba record speaks for itself, and they're informed themselves.
Yeah. Hard to argue, man. Hard to argue. Like, I think Brisbane are making a final, the grand final, rather. It's
it's been years of promise. This is set up for them to make it. Like, you're going to play at the Gabba twice to make the final. You've had a great record there. Team's fit. Like you said, there's no excuses. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I'm predicting a Collingwood Lions final. Bit of a throwy back to the early 2000s.
True, man. There you go.
Bit fun to see. But anyway, we'll I guess we'll wrap it up there. That's it for the games.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Not really much. Look, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Like this, we're probably gonna take a couple of weeks to get used to it again. But like, it feels good to be back in the studio, chatting footy with the lads. Georgie will be back next week, hopefully. If all goes to plan, unless Carlton do that badly, that he's too depressed, or if they do so well and he's on a huge bender. I don't know. Like the Spender bender might happen. Who knows?
We look forward to having him
big time
next
man,
week.
big time.
Yeah.
He's good vibes, man. Good vibes, that boy. But thanks guys for listening. We're gonna try to get back on the track of posting videos. I'm gonna try to get some TikToks going.
Yeah.
You know, YouTube Shorts. You know, we're gonna get back into the flow of things slowly. You know,
and definitely as the finals trims down, there'll be more to talk about. So we'll get started on some team reviews. We'll get started on some draft stuff, some off-season chat.
Yeah, honestly, like as weird as it sounds, I'm looking forward to the off season just to talk about everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy to do like a full pod on everything.
There's going to be about
just about like, you know, sit there and just talk about list management. Like I'll do it.
There'll be a 3-parter on North 3 build.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, I'm maybe even North Melbourne enjoyers. Maybe I don't know.
We'll see.
Maybe in the not too distant future. We'll see how we go.
But yeah, I guess we'll leave it at that. Thanks everyone again. We've got all the socials going as well, so just remember to leave us a rating on Spotify, give us a follow there, obviously YouTube, which we're pretty happy. We went over the 100 and things are going pretty steady. So
oh man, there's a little bit of progression there, you know, which we're enjoying. So yeah, and hopefully some more progression in the coming weeks. You know, finals time. You know, people get a bit excited about footy.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, man.
Have a good one. See you later.